I was going to write a blog about transition this morning, and then I thought I might just try talking about it, just for a change, do a little video for Facebook, because a couple of people recently have talked to me about transition. I had a long chat last week on the phone to our local branch of MenCap, who are looking into ways in the borough to help parents going through the transition process. In fact, when I thought about it, I wasn't sure I could write a blog. I thought actually it's almost enough to write a small book on. So transition, I've got 3 older boys now. The twins have just turned 22, and my middle son has just turned 19. So all 3 are what they call in the transition phase, which basically covers 18 to 25, which is the older phase as well of the EHCP, the Education and Healthcare Plan. And they should start the process from about the age of 16, preparing for adult transition. So it's the transition from children's services and children's education to adult services. So it's really, really a huge subject, and not one that you can just talk about in a few lines. It should cover everything from education, social services. In fact, in some ways, I think there's almost more to it than there was back when my boys were all diagnosed when they were 2. And at that stage, we had to get the whole process for the statement, sort the education out, and look into benefits. But they were still living here, and I was still their carer as their mother, and legally their carer as their mother. Whereas post 18, it all gets very complicated. So not only are you looking at what education they're going to do from now on, if they're staying in education, which they can until 25 with an EHCP, unless they go higher than a level 3. And a level 3 is equivalent to A levels. So the twins at the moment are doing the equivalent of A levels, so they are doing level 3s. So once that finishes, the EHCP finishes. And if they stay in education, you go to a different form of funding. But the other issue is with adulthood is that they are adults. So they should, in theory, be able to sign for everything, consent for everything, be able to make their own decisions about life. But in reality, many of our children can't. So this is the stage at which people will look at things like power of attorney and legal documents to be able to speak on behalf of their children. And that's a really complicated process. I'm not very up on it because my boys are quite able to understand and to give consent and to decide whether they want to do something or not. However, of course, a lot of that is often led by us as the parents, sort of offering them choices but showing them what's out there and speaking to them what's out there, and they wouldn't necessarily be able to access that information without us. So we are able to be their advocates still. The other thing at 18 is that people can decide whether or not their children need to start thinking about leaving home and going into forms of supported living, or living alone, or living with friends, or whatever it is. So there's huge decisions around this time, big decisions for your children's futures, and big decisions for them as well. And just the whole legal issues and trying to get them funding for things and claiming the allowances that they're able to claim, like the equivalent of an unemployment allowance because they can't work, which is ESA, and I've blogged about that before, and trying to get PIP at the right level, possibly getting blue badges, just a whole, so many things. So maybe if any of you watching this have any specific queries, please post them after this, and then I'll try and answer some of the questions, or maybe think about putting something together written. So there's a few more facts and how you go about it, or links, if you think that would be helpful. Okay, bye.